Hi guys! Today I thought I would talk about my experience so far practicing elimination communication with my newborn. My daughter Riley is now 2 weeks and 1 day old, and we have started already with having her use the potty. So I just wanted to go over what we've done so far and where we're at, and then hopefully in the future I will do a video updating you on the progress as time goes on. So I will say, for starters, I have not brushed my hair since yesterday morning, and it is now the late afternoon of the next day, so that explains that. But mommy life. Yeah, but I just wanted to get this video done, or else if I waited until I had time to groom myself, it just would never happen. And honestly, I probably don't look much different than I do when I do attempt to groom myself. So back to my daughter. So to start with elimination communication, the first week, oh, and just to sorry, just going backwards again, she is in diapers full time. We are doing cloth diapers on her. We did do disposables. We did end up using the disposables on her as well, because I did end up in hospital. And we just, we found them, let's be real, they were easier at the end of the day to use during certain times just to get through them and everything. So anyway, but she is in cloth diapers now full time, and at this time I don't ever do time out of the cloth nappies with her, which is something that's common when people practice elimination communication. They do time out of diapers, or they don't use diapers at all. So for the first week we only did cues with her. So I didn't even cue her the first few days. I just was trying to do my best to observe when she was using the toilet, and the best thing that I felt I could do at that point was just, as soon as I knew she had a nappy that was dirty, I would change it right away. Because one of the really important things with elimination communication is not allowing your child to get comfortable in a diaper, because a baby will naturally not want to be in a wet or a dirty, soiled nappy, but they will learn over time to become comfortable in one. And then, at some point you end up having toddlers that will fight you with a nappy change because they don't even want their nappy changed, even though they're sat in a soiled diaper. So every single time, the second she would wet herself or poo herself, even if it was just the smallest amount, I would change the nappy. And then when we started noticing patterns, I say me and my husband, when we started noticing, that she'd do certain faces if she was going to poo, or, there were certain times that I knew she was going to poo or pee, or if we were changing her nappy and she would just start pooing or peeing some more, we introduced the sound cues. So for us, it was simple. When she's peeing, we go psst, and when she's pooing, we go err. And that's about it. The funny thing is she actually almost immediately started cueing back for the poo sounds. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the first time we were cueing with err, she actually, after the first few times we did it, I'm not even kidding, she started going err, err. And I mean, you would think that a newborn would not be intelligent enough to do that, but I'll get onto that again for what she does now when I get to that. So anyway, with that, we introduced the cue sounds, and we did that for about a week on top of the first few days when I wasn't doing anything at all. So when she was just a little over a week old, I think she was a week and 2 days, my husband decided for the first time to actually try to hold her over a potty. And the very first time he did it, he did the cue sounds for the poo, because that's what she was the most receptive to. And it was also, we were a lot more aware when she was pooing to start off. When she was going to wee, or pee, sorry. They say wee in England. It sounds silly. When I first started hearing it, I was laughing, but now I say it all the time instead of pee. So the first We had a really hard time figuring out when she was peeing in the beginning because I had no idea when she was doing wet nappies. Because initially she didn't seem to have any reaction to the wet nappies. Now it's very obvious when she's about to do a wet nappy. But yeah, in the beginning it was only the poos that we could catch when she was doing. So anyway, when she was a week and 2 days old, my husband decided to try to hold her over the potty for the first time. And he cued her with the sound. And sure enough, she pooed in the potty. So he had his first catch. Now, even though we are still catching on the potty at 2 weeks, she is absolutely, definitely 100% still soiling herself in her nappies on a fairly regular basis. The most common occurrence for us is that we will either check her nappy and it'll be clean, and we'll have her go over the potty, and we will have a successful catch of a wee, a poo, or both, and then we'll put her back down on the nappy, and she will decide that she has to go again or complete what she did not finish on the potty. Or it'll go the opposite way, where she's already gone in the nappy, but she's still fussing, so we'll hold her over the potty, she'll go over the potty, and then we've got a soiled nappy and, you know, stuff in the potty. So that's what happens most often. Sometimes we are lucky where we have a clean nappy, she goes in the potty, and we still have a clean nappy. But that actually doesn't happen too often at this point. But I'm just happy that she actually does go in the potty, and she's starting to understand that she doesn't have to go in the diaper, that she can wait for the potty. And she has definitely started holding in for the potty, because now, when I was talking about how that first time we introduced that she back to us, at the time I kind of thought, it's just, you know, it's in my head. It's probably just a sound that she normally makes, or, you know, it's a sound that you would make without even realizing when you're pooing. You know, just it's a natural reaction. It has nothing to do with the fact that we're introducing it to her. Except I never hear her make that sound, except now she will start to get fussy and she will start going, The thing is when she makes the noise, it's really low and it's easy to miss. So like my husband doesn't always notice when she's making the noise, although he has started to pick it up finally. I say finally, I mean, she's only 2 weeks old. So the fact that we're picking up any of this stuff, I think is, you know, great. Yeah, so she starts making the cue, she cues us basically. And when you go to check her nappy, she'll have a clean nappy, but she's making this noise. And generally for her, she's got some sort of trapped wind that is keeping her from being able to poo. So she's generally asking for a bit of a burp and an opportunity to use the potty. So I think it's really funny that she's starting to cue us to hold her over the potty at 2 weeks old. So she is actually holding her wees and her poos for us. With her wees, she basically, we know she's going to wee because she has a very, very shrill, high-pitched cry that is nothing like any of her other normal cries. And when she gets to that decibel, we know she has to pee. So at this point, I have way more success catching her pees than I do her poos. I can catch her poos, but the problem with her poos is generally that she has the trapped wind as well, so she can't a lot of times poo without getting like a really good burp. But if we're trying to burp her, then a lot of times as we're burping her, she'll end up pooing in her nappy. Although, you know, you can actually achieve both. It's just luck. But yeah, she has actually started cueing us for both the pees and the poos with the crazy crying and the noise. The cue for peeing, she does seem to be a little bit more confused about, because sometimes she will pee when we go, well, she definitely always pees when I go psst, but at the same time, sometimes she pees if I go because, which I don't care, because if she's doing it when I say one or the other, if she's doing it over the potty, I'm happy. But we'll even cue her, we'll have her on her nappy on the changing table open, and we'll still do the cue sounds because we just want her to relate the sound to the, you know, releasing her bowels. Yeah, so anyway, that's been our experience so far. The one thing I will say is I brought it up in the beginning about the fact that I change her nappies all the time because I don't want her to get comfortable in a nappy. So because she's in cloth nappies, but it would be true anyway if you were using disposables, I do find that I'm using a lot more nappies than even what a normal person would for just, you know, any old newborn. You know, when they say that you can expect 10 to 12 nappy changes in a day, like, we definitely go through more than that in a day. I mean, like, way more than that in a day. So, like with my cloth nappy snatch, I did have to go out and get more newborn sized nappies. And that won't hold true for the future when, you know, as she gets more established in her using the potty, she'll use less and less nappies. But because we're training her right now and she requires constant changes, she does need a lot of extra nappies. So if you're using disposables, then, you know, you're going to want to get a much bigger stash than what you might normally anticipate needing. And if you're using cloth nappies, then you're going to want a lot more of the newborn size nappies. And then you won't need as many of the, you know, the larger sizes. Yeah, so I just want to mention that because if you're planning on doing it, obviously you need to have a diaper stash. Regardless of what kind of diapering you're doing, you're going to need some kind of diaper stash before you even bring baby home, and you're going to want to make sure that it is a larger diaper stash than what you initially might think you need. Because I kind of initially was just thinking I won't need as many nappies as somebody who's doing, you know, just nappy full-time, not doing elimination communication, but I hadn't really considered the fact that I'm going to have to be doing a lot more changes in the beginning because I don't want her even in a slightly soiled nappy. And it's been working though, because now it's like the smallest amount in her diaper will make her have a fuss. So, and that's exactly what I want. I don't want her to be content and happy in a dirty diaper. I think that's all I have to say, but I also kind of feel like I might have jumped around and missed things. So if you have any questions, definitely go ahead and ask them down below. I will do my best to answer in a timely manner. I will say that most of my YouTubing that I do is either from my phone or my iPad, and I can only actually answer comments when I log into my computer, which I don't tend to do very often. But I will try my best to get back on and answer comments, you know, as soon as I can. It's just because, you know, I'm tethered. Right now, these days, I'm generally always sat on that couch there, breastfeeding pretty much all day long, because newborns, they require a lot of TLC, which I'm happy to give my baby girl, but it is time consuming. So yeah, I don't really even get into the computer room to log on to the computer, but I will answer your questions. Just, it might not be immediately, but I will definitely answer them if you have any. Yeah, and hopefully I will be able to make an update. I'm not really sure when I will make an update because it kind of depends on when it seems like things will change enough to validate making an update. And I have no concept of knowing, you know, in another 2 weeks, she might have a lot more progress, or the progress that she's had in these first 2 weeks might kind of be stagnant for a few months. Like, I have no idea. But I'm actually really pleased with where we are at the moment. You know, she's going on the potty on a regular basis. We're catching poos and wees throughout the day, every day. With almost every diaper change, we are catching something in the potty. Even though she's still soiling her nappies. So, you know, it'll definitely be nice when we start to get more saved nappies, because we're at the point now where maybe we get to save 2 or 3 nappies a day, where we go to take her, we check her nappy and she's not soiling it, we get her on the potty, and we put her back in her nappy and we can actually put her back in it. Yeah, but it'll be nice when I have more saved nappies, just because it's not even about not having to change the nappy. It's just about, it makes you feel good, like this is what we're setting out to do, you know? So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to have an update somewhat soon, because that'll mean that she's had good progress in a short period of time. But at the same time, if there isn't that progress, you know, I'll still be happy with her, because I know that she'll be taking things at the rate that she is comfortable learning and experiencing them. So I'm rambling again. I always ramble. I'm really sorry. I'm going to get going. And I think I have a little clip that I'll add in of my husband doing Elimination communication with her. And that's it. So I'll add that in on the end, and I will say goodbye. Have a good day, and thank you. Bye, guys.
Are you filming? Is this a one pump or another one?